Okay, y'all, first things first. Remember talking about the stealth cam. I was talking about how it was triggering on its own, just trigger, and it just bleed down batteries and fill up an SD card. Well, the one that I thought that I had working like it was supposed to, I had it set up down there in the woods. It did okay like one night when I had it set up here real close to the house. I was just checking. I did some changes and stuff like that, and I was just checking it. So I took it down in the woods today, and I went down there and got it today. And I brought the cam back up. Brought the camera back up, whole thing, and put the card in. First of all, when I went out there, I opened it up and looked at it, and the batteries were dead. So I knew. Put the card in, it had 1,200 videos, 1,200 30-second videos of nothing but trees and limbs and leaves. That's it. All in one night, too. I mean, it was just as fast as it could go off, it'd come back on. Fast as it go off, it'd come back on. It really, I mean, that's not doing me any good. I mean, they're not doing what they're supposed to do. They're not doing what they're designed to do. So I mean, they're not doing me any good. So I'm gonna have to get rid of them. I mean, I've tried to make them work. I really have. But I just can't get them to work. And both of them do the exact same thing. One of them would work okay for a little while and then go back to doing it again. So, but as I hate to do it, I'm just gonna chunk them. Because if I don't, I'll keep them around and they'll just collect dust and stuff. So I'm gonna chunk them. Tired of messing with them. Tired of trying things out on them. It's not worth it to me. So I hate it because I spent like $60 a piece on them. You know, there wasn't the cellular kind. All I wanted them to do was when something walks in front of it, take a video. When the certain amount of time's out, go off. That's all I wanted to do. And the night videos are horrible. I mean, that little 8 megapixel, that's a 12, either a 12 or 14 megapixel, and the little 8 megapixel, dang, has better night pictures than that one does. So, you know, they're not really doing me any good. They're not. I may go back and buy 2 more and they work just perfect, but I don't think I am. I mean, that's too much of a risk for me with such a small reward. So, like I said, I got that Wild Man Extreme down there, and I got 2 of those Tascos down there. So at least I got the 3 still. So, like I said, I just chunked them. I don't want to fool with them anymore. I don't want to bother with them anymore. Okay, since I got rid of my stealth cams, that put me back down to 3. Actually, that put me back down to 2, and I got another Tasco, and it was a 10 megapixel, and that put me down to 3. So I went out, and I got me another Wild Man. It's not the Extreme, it's the Cloak Pro. It's actually one step up from the Wild Man. I mean, from the Extreme. You remember I had the Wild Man Extreme? It's the Wild Man Cloak Pro, so we're going to see how that does. I'm going to go ahead and set it up and see if I can't take a picture with it. And then use my little card reader that I bought at the Walmart the other day. See if I can't see how well it's going to work. It may not work with a flip. The lights are shining all over the place here. I'm going to turn you off and set you off to the side here. Alright, I got it unboxed. I'm fitting to put the batteries in it and everything. See if I can get this sucker to working. While I'm doing this, I'll tell you the story of Phineas Gage. There was a guy back in the mid-1800s who was working on railroads. And we worked with the railroad company, and his job was he was in charge of the explosives. He was in charge of actually doing the explosive work. What they would do is they'd drill a hole in the side of, you know, whatever bedrock or whatever in the world it was that they were wanting to run the railroad, and they would take a bit and drill bit and go down so far into the bedrock or whatever, like I said, into the side of a mountain or whatever, wherever they wanted to run the hole. And they would take what was called a tamponing rod. Now, what that tamponing rod would do is it would go down there and pack the explosives down in there, but you had to be real careful with it, because if not, it could go off. Well, that's exactly kind of what happened to Mr. Phineas Gage. He was packing the explosives down there. He had everything right, and the tamponing rod slipped out of his hand. Well, instead of going down there at controlled speed, it just free fell, and it went all the way down there, hit those explosives, and exploded the explosives. Well, the explosives shot that tamponing rod right back up in the hole, and it went in right underneath his left cheek and come out right at the top of his head, right here behind his eye. I mean, right there. Well, if that wasn't weird enough, the fact that he lived through it was even weirder. And we're not done with the weirdness yet. Let me put this in like that. He would go on to live another 13 years after this. Now, before the accident, Phineas Gage was a very trustworthy, hardworking, very dependable person. After the accident, though, after they pulled the tamponing rod out of him and he got healed back up, his personality completely changed. It's completely changed. He went from being hardworking and trustworthy to vulgar, profane, drunk. I mean, he was just a burden on the face of the earth, I guess. That's a crazy way to put it. That's true. And this particular case, after he died 13 years later from epilepsy, of course, after he died, his brain got donated to science. And I think the skull is at Harvard University to this day. This was the first case and the first time that they were able to actually study the effects of your brain on your personality. After they went through and opened up his head and took his brain and studied his brain, they come to find out that the tamponing rod actually damaged the ventromedial part of your brain. Now, that part of your brain is actually responsible for decision making, fear, self-control, risk assessment, all these things. So once that was damaged, that damaged not only his brain, but it damaged his personality. And this was the first time that scientists were able to look and see what different parts of your brain, what they controlled in your personality. And that was always pretty neat to me. That's an old story. I've known that story for a long time. So it was pretty neat. Like I said, he died penniless and an alcoholic, and like I said, he died of epilepsy. I don't know if the epilepsy had anything to do with, I don't know if the tamponing rod had anything to do with his epilepsy, but I wouldn't doubt it one way or the other. But that was always a pretty neat story. Well, I got the camera out. I got the batteries in the camera. I got the SD card in here, so I'm going to set it up, and I'm going to then pull the card out and put it on my phone and see how well that works. I'll let you know. Alright, I think I got it. I got to download some software. I actually downloaded the Wild Game Innovations software, and that didn't work, so I had to download some other file management software onto my phone, and that seems to work. We're going to find out this weekend. See how well that works. So y'all watch. Well, y'all probably already have seen it by the time this video goes up. But anyway, y'all, we're going to see how well it works this weekend. And we'll see how good we are here. Thanks for watching.